Good afternoon, Turks and Caicos. This is Dr. Holly Hamilton, Director of Meteorology at the Turks and Caicos Islands Airports Authority, just coming to you with a special weather briefing today, 2 o'clock on the 21st of October, 2024. We've been made aware that there's been some information circulating, and we just wanted to bring to you the facts based on the most recent advisory coming from the National Hurricane Center. So here I have in front of me is the infrared satellite imagery. The most recent infrared satellite imagery. And we have here Tropical Storm Oscar. The center of that storm was located just over the Eastern Caribbean. And we can see a lot of the convection associated with that system shearing off to the east of where the center is located. Currently it has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour with higher gusts, and it's moving northwest at 6 miles per hour. So we see a lot of that convection here spreading up towards still the Bahamas, and here is Turks and Caicos, which would explain why outside looks the way it does. Pretty cloudy, mostly cloudy skies, and showers here and there today. So let's just and also just bringing up the current watches and warning advisories. So a tropical storm watch is issued for the central Bahamas. And then there's tropical storm warnings for the southeastern Bahamas and still along the southeastern coast of Cuba. So just taking a closer look at Oscar again, this is infrared satellite imagery. We see all that blob of convection here associated with Oscar, and a trailing of that still spreading to the northeast, covering the southeastern Bahamas. And then here's Turks and Caicos. So again, that explains why it's cloudy outside, why we're still getting some rain, which we discussed in the weekend, Friday going into the weekend, that we would still be experiencing some rainfall associated with Oscar and as it interacted with that front. Now that frontal boundary has pretty much diminished now, but in terms of convection still spreading off from Oscar, we could still experience some intermittent showers, and we had forecasted up on through till Tuesday we could have had a rainfall accumulation of 2 to 4 inches of rain. But I'll talk more about that in the other slides. But as you can see, convection is still spreading across Oscar. But let's go and look at the recent track projection. So we see here that this is where the center of Oscar is located, and the track, so it basically came from the northeast, impacted Cuba, and now it's beginning that turn that had been projected from the get-go on Saturday. It's making that loop around as it interacts with a mid-level trough, and so it's going to, by this evening, we're expecting it to move off the coast of Cuba. As it's still interacting with land, there's still the likelihood that some weakening could occur. There's a possibility that it could re-strengthen a little once it comes off the coast, but we're looking at it possibly becoming a tropical depression, especially the longer it stays over land here, interacting with the mountainous terrain of Cuba. By Tuesday, on Tuesday, we're looking at Oscar, the center of Oscar, moving across the central and southeastern Bahamas, and by Wednesday, exiting and moving into the North Atlantic Ocean. So at this point, as you can see, there's no watch or warning issued for the Turks and Caicos Islands. And this graphic here basically shows the probability or the chance of experiencing tropical storm force winds. And as you can see here, the Turks and Caicos Islands is in the region of where there's 5 to 10% chance of experiencing tropical storm force conditions, which is on the very low end of the scale. So what does that mean? We can experience periods of gusty winds, and like I said, intermittent periods of showers. But in terms of the storm coming back across the Turks and Caicos, that is not that has not been indicated by any of the forecast advisories, the official forecast advisories coming from the National Hurricane Center. And finally, this is a graphic showing the rainfall potential. So most of the rainfall obviously is co-located with where Oscar is going to move through. So the highest here you see along Cuba and over the central and southeastern Bahamas. But here Turks and Caicos is in that light green region, which is projecting again 1 to 2 inches of rain from today going into Wednesday morning. So again, like we had indicated over the weekend, this would have been a rainy weekend going into early this week. So on top of the 1 to 2 inches, and even in South Caicos, a weather station registered almost 4 inches of rain. So on top of that amount of rainfall that we've experienced already over the weekend, we're looking at another 1 to 2 inches possible to fall in the Turks and Caicos Islands going into Wednesday morning. So with that, I just want to close. Just please always look for official information or forecast and advisories coming from our social media platforms, the Turks and Caicos Islands National Weather Service. Also, the DDME Alert app. If you don't have it on your phone yet, you need to download it to get official information. Also on the various government channels. So be advised accordingly. I just want to end off by saying Oscar is not looping back and coming over across the Turks and Caicos Islands. Based on information now, it is expected to cross over the central and southeastern Bahamas and then out to the Atlantic. But we should be prepared for experiencing periods of showers and thunderstorms, and going into tonight, those thunderstorms, there's a slight marginal risk that those thunderstorms could be severe. So with that, we could have intense periods, heavy rain, which could lead to flash flooding, localized floodings in the well-known flood-prone areas around the country. So with that, I wish you a good afternoon and just be safe out there.